Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. हरि ओम अंबिका जी.
हरि ओम sir.
हरि ओम. So anyone can start, and we can also start with some of the forwards which we have received from Sonia also. We can start anyway. That moth example was very nice actually. Moth and flies.
Wow, very, very good.
That was very, very nice actually. And the subsequent one also was very good. Probably, I don't know whether that was in the group or that was to me only. That moth example.
That was only
to me.
Read Charwana. And it was only
it was nice. I think the moth example was so good. That question was very nice actually. So why do you want to come back? Why do you want to come back? So, see, in Atma Vidya, we start from a position where we feel world is too big for us to handle, and we are small, we are limited. Some people say that no, we think we are too big. That's where the problem is. So that too big is something different. Like we feel that we command everything, we are too big, and that's a different. That's another way. Ahankara is different. That ahankara is another bloated ahankara actually. That ahankara, even though someone may be big, even if it was Alexander, he could only aspire so much that he could rule probably the entire world. And of course there are modern technology Alexanders like Elon Musk who would like to conquer the other celestial bodies as well. He's probably talking about of course moon people have already reached. Probably now he must be talking a little bit more about creating things in moon and many other places as well. So even if someone can think to that level, they can make a satellite, make it as a vehicle, have a village, not village, what is it, farmhouse in moon, farmhouse in Jupiter. It's all possible. If they have found water there, that is possible. And that's not impossible, it's possible. I think the only difficulty as of now practically maybe that they may not be able to settle down in sun at least. That is one difficulty. Even in Chennai, people are able to stay because of sun. Forget moving to sun itself. So that can be a difficulty. For that also, human brain can find some technology to be there also and create a farm. You never know. That is also possible. All those things are possible. But still, a person, when he thinks even to that level, conquering this world and any other world as well, will still fall short. Even if a person has conquered, this entire solar system, they may still have inadequacy that there are many more systems which are yet to be conquered. And even if they think everything else also they can conquer, first thing is they have their bodily problem, limitation, and they have to certainly admit that all the celestial bodies are much bigger, and they have so many things in them which have to be understood first. Whether it is fusion, fission, all these things about stars, black hole, everything they have to still understand, and all these are overwhelming. And beyond all these things also, even if we understand everything of everything, kind of, in terms of material perspective, we may still have a kind of complex that we didn't create all those. So that can come. So whatever be that ahankar one can reach out to also, still relatively we are small from Jagat perspective. Because Jagat is so big actually. So that certainly brings us and humbles us a lot actually. Luckily if we are humbled and start the journey of understanding why things are happening the way they are happening, what is this and where they are coming from. So um, to think about the cause of Jagat and also the inquirer is ideally natural, reasonable, and also it is helpful and progressive in someone's journey. So it's very important to definitely hit upon that question to understand what is this, what is this Jagat all about, where is it coming from, how did it come about, and Jagat includes our body, mind, sense complex and the inquirer, us actually, and everyone else, everything else, every creatures we just put into Jagat itself. Other than us, everything else is Jagat. And in fact, our body, mind, sense complex also is a part of Jagat. But the inquirer, so-called inquirer as such, is basically using this body and mind. And inquiry is all about using mind only. The real self, which is yet to be discovered, that's where Shastra is guiding us towards, is not affected by anything in any case. That's how Shastra reveals. And we don't accept that because we have sympathy or shraddha or a orientation or affiliation towards Shastra, that we better accept what it says. We have shraddha in Shastra that it will help us uncover what we want to see. So that is what is shraddha. It will help us to see what is the real thing. What is the real thing? What is? That itself is more than enough. What is? It will help us to see that. So that's where I think from a simple quest of knowing what is going around us and why things are happening, what is the reason behind all this, the ultimate cause, we refine it a little bit more into the next level where luckily if we are through the sampradaya, we hit upon that particular source of knowledge where we feel that yes, this is going to help us uncover these mysteries. So that's where I think from a rudimental idea or requirement of first feeling that the world is big, definitely, and from there going to a little bit of maturity saying, okay, then if there is something, then there is a cause, then let me understand what that cause is. And slowly we want to go to the immediate cause, the ultimate, from the immediate cause to the ultimate cause. So it graduates into that if a person is really pausing and thinking, and from there on the person has to look at a source that can give him that knowledge. So that is how we get into it. Now, having got into that, obviously now we see that, at least since we have already studied the Upanishads and Viveka Chudamani, we know that world, anything that you see other than the witness is anitya, because the witness sees that all these are changing. So this side of it, when you arrive at the crux of the witness, the crux is shown from Sushupti example, where in Sushupti, body, mind, sense is completely resolved to an extent that the witness is alone available at that point in time, because the witness can never sleep. This is one motto of one of the company, right? Citibank, I think. City never sleeps. So something like that. Chit, we can just complete, make it as CHIT instead of city. So we can make it as Chit. Chit never sleeps. There is nothing called being awake or sleep for that Chit actually, because it doesn't undergo any change. Something which can undergo change, you can categorically talk about it. Something which just is still and vast, omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent. What do you want to talk about? You can only say that it's omnipresent, omniscient. That's what you can say. Omnipresent. That's the only thing you can say. And again, when we are saying that, these words make sense only to mind which otherwise is alpa present, alpa potent. Kind of, this is all alpa, that is all omni. So, sarvavyapi, sarvashaktiman, sarvajna. So here it is Alpagya, Alpashaktiman, Alpavyapi. So this is where the Jiva is, but the cause is, Parama. So that is how it is. So gradually we go to that level, and Vedanta Vichara helps us to arrive at that pure witness, which is actually available during Sushupti as well. It helps us to, uh, kind of get an idea by differentiating from Jagrata Avastha and Swapna Avastha, where mind has its objects very, very clearly. In fact, in Jagrata Avastha, body itself has its objects very clearly through perception. And in Swapna Avastha, body may not have its objects, though we can still feel, where we are sleeping. You can feel the pillow, you still know that, where the blanket is, you just go and then use it. To some extent, there is a mix, actually, you can say. And mind has its object, mind dwells on its object in terms of whatever it is putting up as a setup for that particular sleep, that night or that moment. It is available. So basically, we can very clearly see that mind is very active even at that time, and it is still reveling on something, actually. And really, when mind sleeps, that's amazing beauty, actually, in terms of whether it is, you call it psychology, biology, human anatomy, or whatever it is you call it. That's an amazing point, actually. We just cut off. That cutting off without an anesthesia in Sushupti is a great boon. That's where I think even everyone gets a kind of real freshness in terms of, body and mind as well. It just cut off. The way we cut off from city, go and sit somewhere. Wherever you are sleeping, you should cut off to that level that, just go to Sushupti. That's even 1 minute, I think that will be great, actually. So in Sushupti, mind is completely resolved, and when the person, from a worldly perspective, if he's seeing these gross objects, transactions, that person is sleeping. Really, the ultimate witness is kind of precipitated there, actually. So he is available there. But the only problem is our knowing, in the sense of normal knowing, is through the medium of mind. So in this case, since that knower, that medium kind of a knower is resolved, you cannot enjoy that witness as an object, because witness cannot be an object of mind. This is where the tricky point is, actually. So Sushupti, as an example, helps us to clearly identify the boundaries of mind and body, and thereby know that no, these things are all bodies only, I am not that, including Karana Sharira, almost up to Karana Sharira also. I mean, you would just say it is Karana Sharira, that's all. But Manas, everyone, we all understand, like we are a seer, actually, at the time when we are sleeping and when we are dreaming. And when we are really sleeping in terms of Sushupti, at least when we get up, we know very well that yes, we slept very well, and the mind was completely resolved, is something we know. We didn't have dream, we didn't have the sense of our own body as to who we are and what's our size, and we also never had any idea of our geography, actually, whether we were sleeping in the hall or bedroom, or was it our own house, or in a hotel where we were traveling, or in a marriage chowdhury. We do not know at all. So that's the experience. So Shastra helps us by giving us the example of our own daily experience. It helps us to objectify these bodies as idam, as this, not aham. So that aham has to be refined. That's where this body of knowledge helps us through vichara, that this is what, these are the things which you are not. And luckily, we don't confuse ourselves to be the tree next to us. So the only confusion we have is the emotional bondage is different. Of course, that is very strong even than the physical bondage. The emotional bondage is outside of our skin, actually. I think the physical bondage is from the place where the skin starts. That's where we think we are trapped, or we are one unit along with that. So we mix the driver with car. So in a way, driver also in a way is, kind of manas, you can say buddhi, which is also a limited one. But the ultimate one is, you can't even give it any name, actually. It doesn't drive anything, actually. Though people say God drives people crazy, but he doesn't drive anyone actually. He is just available, that's it. He is just there, that's it. So from our idea of uh, sense of being stuck in a particular body and trying to get liberated, it gives us the idea in terms of refining our own nature. That's why this is Atma Vidya. To know what is the ultimate cause is the starting point. However, since the solution is not outside, only I think the starting point is an outside thinking, which is okay. That's where Mumukshutvam starts, that I want to be free. And one of the things which we want to solve is the mystery as to how things have come. So that's one of the things which we start with. But ideally, by knowing that mystery, the answer of that mystery, what do we want to achieve? We want to be happy. That's more important. That ananda, being with oneself, is more important actually. That's where I think the refinement keeps coming in, saying, okay, you want to understand what outside world is? This is how outside world is. This is how things are happening. Happy? Okay. Now you understand about yourself first actually. And when it comes to yourself, that's where I think it's very important that anything that you see as gross body, which is surviving only because of food, is not you. Simple. My son had two issues actually the last week. I've been also being in Pune to help him out with medication and all. So we ate something. He ate something outside. He had a problem of some allergy. Throat was completely gone, and a kind of gastro department completely failed actually. Completely failed to be erratic. So any drop of ORS also was getting thrown out actually. Just imagine. And when something doesn't, when stomach fails, everything fails. So he had to survive on IV for at least 2 days, and then oral medication could start. So just imagine, if food is not there, body is gone actually. Such a stupid body this is. But anyway, it's a blessing that, if food is given, we can do so many things, including abusing, that food also. Everything we can do. Uh, that's amazing. Body, mind,
But,
this is amazing.
sir,
Huh. Tell me, please. Yeah, please. Go ahead.
I so I wanted to just say that, sir, we say that if food is gone, body is gone. Or it is, but when you reach to that level of, I would say, sadhana, where you can survive without food. Also, there are so many examples or so many what we hear from our scriptures that food was not required anymore. They can still live.
After that, they need air, no? We need five elements in any case. They have to go inside us. See, finally, in our case also, what is food giving? Finally, food is giving two sources:
Energy.
sugar and oxygen. Finally, oxygen is very important. Blood is important for carrying the oxygen to every place. Blood is formed out of food, and that has the propensity to carry oxygen as well. So brain needs these two things for survival. Otherwise, things will not survive. So in ventilator, when we put, what is happening? We don't need heart to pump. We don't need anything to do anything actually. Heart is a utility equipment, right? It is only helping blood move. Why blood has to move? It has to move because it has to bring out the carbon dioxide, supply oxygen. And in fact, it has to supply oxygen only to get out the carbon dioxide. That's the only reason it has to do. So heart is only a simple thing. It is a utility equipment actually. That's it. And respiratory organs, they are also utility equipments. They have to get air, purify, and then send it out. That's it. That's the only thing they have to do. So two things are only happening actually finally. If in ventilator we don't need heart, what is happening? In ventilator it is substituting all the organs. Output of organs it gives. That's it. Finally, what you need, oxygen and glucose. That's all. That's all. For mind to keep thinking and have this ahankara and this different saying aham, I am different from everything else, is just the brain, if you ask me. Every other function is only to remove impurities and get the pure things, that's all, and keep the things moving. So ventilator is very simple, no? Keep on giving this oxygen and glucose to brain to survive, to make it think. तो ये बंदा बोलते रहेगा क्यों देता है भाई, वैसे भी मरण अवस्था में छोड़ देना. नहीं नहीं नहीं, हमें चाहिए. The ventilator is only that actually. Just give the crux. Only oxygen in the fine. The crux is that actually. So finally is what? Oxygen and glucose. Oxygen is prana. This one is glucose. Okay, glucose you can acquire somehow and then keep the body intact for whatever reason. And metabolism you can reduce to reduce the glucose consumption. With the limited glucose you can survive for a long time. I said for like tortoise. 400 years. Slowly take breath, aram se 400 years you can live. So, at that person, whosoever is that this one, has to still survive on prana. So prana is more subtler, and that can can move here and there if you know how to manipulate it. Just a minute. My laptop is losing charge. Just give me 1 minute. I will log in through mobile. I'll log out from here and log in there. Yeah. Yeah. So am I audible now? Okay. So the idea is to refine our understanding first, and while understanding everything that is not us is what is pointed out by Shastra. So that's where we went through those Panchakosha, the way even Ashish was asking that doubt, right? To explain Panchakosha. So Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya. So Mariji, to come back to your point, Ashtama Siddhi can only help us reach to a level where we become little bit more pervasive in terms of our previous understanding. However, when we always talk about movement, being here, present there, so that always means that it is still a body. So as Karana Sharira also, when the body dies, finally the person as a small person exists, and that person only is fed food by offering things into Agni. So like the way if we forget something, we can send it through porter to someone, one place to another place. We have courier. So Agni is the courier, the subtlest courier connecting certain world to another world. So in the form of Agni, it can reach that particular Jiva, provided we offer it in that particular way. So it's all frequencies, pin codes. So pin code normally is how the pin code and that particular person's address is very clear. It is given through a particular name actually. So that name is said very clearly, and it is also said what kind of relationship is that person to the Karta very clearly. So that's all given actually. I always used to link it to the way excise code or GST code is given. So what they do is they take PAN number. So they take all the digits of PAN number and then append some more numbers to assign code for excise department or GST these days. So they do that actually. So when we perform rituals, we have to say, for example, we take 3 generations actually on both the sides, father side as well as mother's side. And when we have to tell the name, we tell their particular sarma name, whatever is there, we tell that name and also the relationship to the karta. So this name plus this fixes which jiva we are talking about, and that is known, and that's where it goes actually. So I think our Vedic system has been so clear. It understood very clearly, saying if the address is not available, it will not reach the right person. So address was very, very clear actually. So that is how it was given. Of course, it also has given certain residual names where it says, since we are able to do only for 3 generations, it also says, okay, even those whom I do not know, but who are still going here and there from my generation, my predecessors, for them also I am giving this water, whatever it is, tarpana. We say that also. Uh, uh, so those jnata we say actually, the one who don't know and we do not know, for them also I am doing this. That is up to one gotra. After that, when we do a miscellaneous thing for everyone, general thing, we say that forget my gotra, for every other gotra also where someone is needing this, I am giving that. That also we do. So in a way, we give also miscellaneous address where you do a broad spectrum of spreading things where people can pick up whatever they can pick up. So nicely it is given that finally it has to be food or whatever has to be offered to even the Karana Sharira. So that's very important. That's the reason it is mentioned so nicely. So finally, any body, whether it is Sukshma Sharira, Sthula Sharira or Karana Sharira, they are formed out of this food or energy. So that is all idam. So that has to be very clearly understood. When we refine this way, aham becomes very, very clear, because we have to only clarify what is creating the problem and remove that out of it. So in a coffee which we have, if there is a kind of tea dust which has fallen, it's something different to it. So to get that coffee back, we don't have to retrieve all coffee. We have to only remove the tea, dust out of it. That's it. Coffee is already there. So like that, the witness is of such a nature that he is totality. And if mind, which is small, wants to gulp that entire totality, it's just not going to be possible. So mind has to be only told, as to saying, boss, you are all there, you are thinking it is all fine, but please understand that you are a part of this food thing which you are created out of, and you will not be there when food stops getting supplied. So please understand this. If IV is not there, you are not there finally. You will be gone. As far as mind is concerned, Karana Sharira, unfortunately, because of karma, it will remain. At least you will not be continuing in this body this way. So please understand your limitation and stop there. That's it. That's where the stopping thing happens. So the inquiry has to very clearly bring out the witness, and the pure witness which is all pervasive. So that's where when Atma is being defined, it is defined as Sthula Sukshma Karana Sharirat Vyatirikta, apart from them, Panchakosha Atita, the one which is beyond these Panchakoshas. San Avasthatraya Sakshi also, it is the witness of all the Avastha, 3 Avasthas. So when it is Jagrata Avastha, it is Jagrata Avastha plus consciousness. It is Swapna Avastha plus consciousness. And when it is Sushupti, it is Sushupti plus consciousness. The plus consciousness is always there actually throughout. That's where I think space becomes an amazing example all the time. I'm a fan of space actually. Anything you take, it is that thing plus space. If space is not there, nothing can exist actually. The very question of here, there, everything is all with respect. These words are derived only out of space. Remove space, these dependent items, word vocabulary will just completely vanish because here, there, everywhere, all these words, they are all with respect to space. The moment we remove this Panchamahabhuta, this particular one Panchamahabhuta, one of this Panchamahabhuta, every vocabulary related to that, if you remove, I think this entire vocabulary will be almost 90% gone. If you remove space, almost even 99% gone perhaps. So that's the power of that actually. So anything you see has to be simple, that plus space. So easy. And the beauty is that space doesn't interfere that particular item in any way. It just allows it to thrive. That's it. It's so important that without that the thing cannot survive. At the same time, space has no great emotion towards that that item. It just accommodates. Simple. It just follows the rule. Okay, whatever is there, my job is to accommodate things. That's it. Doesn't do anything else actually. It doesn't care which varna is from which age bracket, geriatric population or youth population, Gen Z or whosoever. Doesn't matter actually. It just accommodates. Communist versus right, left, everything doesn't matter actually. So that's how space is. So you can take that as an example actually. The way everything is that plus space, we can easily say, we can say that actually everything is that plus consciousness actually. So in fact you can say space is space plus consciousness. Now you will understand Chit Akasha. Space is space plus consciousness. Because there is a person who is witnessing space, that witness is the one we are talking about. San Avastha Traya Sakshi. This Sakshi is also a Sakshi of that one of the subtlest Bhuta, which is space. And it's amazing actually, nothingness, if you have to witness, that thing has to be something. That thing cannot be nothing. So that's where, absolute nothing is just not possible. So if nothingness has to be objectified, there has to be one Purusha. That something has to be there actually. So that's the beauty. So anything, any situation is that is plus consciousness. So we have one thought, that thought plus consciousness. So consciousness is backing every thought all the time. And that is invariable. Doesn't matter what thought. Just like the way we say, it can accommodate a tree, it can accommodate fish, it can accommodate human being, it can accommodate Indra, Varuna, Vayu, it can accommodate everything, including Vishnu, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, because they are seen as deities who have forms. So it can also accommodate them to that level actually. Where it fails is when it has to accommodate Brahman. Because it is almost equal to that actually. The only difference is Brahman is Chit. And pure space is not Chit. And since it is almost equal to Brahman, obviously it has to be understood that it is just coming from Brahman only. From Chit, from Brahman, whatever equivalent names you can give, they can be replaced. The names can be replaced, interchangeably used. From Brahman or Chit, when it is not understood, comes space. Brahman plus Maya is space. Maya is ignorance. That's all. That is how space comes in. So, Shastra helps us to refine our understanding as the witness as to who we are. That's the reason this is Atma Vidya. So, total knowledge, understanding totality is finally understanding oneself. So, that's where Shastra first says that this journey is nothing to do with an external understanding. It is more an internal understanding. Stop moving outside and Bahirmukha, whatever is there, that approach, leave it first. The journey should be internal. Understand yourself, you understand the world. So that's a very nice, that's where the starting point is actually, where if we say that the distance to be traveled, for example, is 1 millimeter versus infinite kilometers. When Shastra comes and says that actually your distance to be traveled is 1 millimeter and not those infinite kilometers. Infinite kilometers, I don't know in what sense we can say. 10 to the power of whatever, so many kilometers we can say, I don't know what all we can say. Sun itself, we have to say in terms of so many power, so many lakhs of kilometers, millions of kilometers kind of. So like that you can imagine, the farthest thing, if you have to understand God, where all you will go. Farthest that you can imagine is that what we can say is the distance. So Shastra very clearly says, stop that. It's not outside of you. In fact, it is everywhere. But it has to start, for us to focus, everywhere is something, again, concept not understood. So then it has to say, no, don't worry, don't look outside of yourself. Start looking inside. It is also inside you. This is the word it has to use. So start looking inside. The treasure hunt from outside perspective onwards, it goes to inside perspective. From the time Shastra says. So then the sadhaka also gets some kind of hope saying, okay, within our lifespan, yeah, this 1 millimeter definitely it is easy to cross. But unfortunately, that 1 millimeter has two things. One is sadhana and vichara. Sadhana becomes almost like 500 kilometers when we start looking at it. So finally we'll think, अरे यार 1 millimeter बोला था, but for 1 millimeter I have to travel 500 kilometers of sadhana first and then only cross this 1 millimeter through vichara. So that happens. That happens. That's a kind of practical issue. So sadhana has to be done to bring mind to a amazing level of understanding, which wherein it can grasp, and basically sattva, which is more conducive to knowledge, and then which are the words, the concepts have to be given. Then when the beautiful marrying happens of transaction between that body of knowledge and the person who can take this knowledge, who's fit to take this knowledge, the mind which is fit to take this knowledge, that's when the real samvada happens between Shastra and oneself. And that's where progress happens. And the result of this is very clear. One has to understand that that ultimate cause which one was looking at is oneself. That's where the culmination happens. Now, the culmination has to be total. Cannot be partial. There cannot be even 10 to the power of so many microns, you can say, fraction of microns. That distance also cannot be there. That's where the point is very clearly. It has to be just that. I think I am almost Brahman is not helpful. I think I am almost there is not helpful. Aham Brahmasmi is the only status that is helpful. I am there already is what is helpful. So that is the status which we are looking at. Aham 99% Brahmasmi is not helpful. Aham 99.999% Brahmasmi is also not helpful. Like the way you see gold, no? The ICICI, if you get the seal, pure gold, 24 karat gold, when you buy that, they write, it is assay certification they call it, 99.999%. Well, यार 0.01 डालने में क्या problem था? तो somehow it doesn't probably, that's when it will become Brahman perhaps, no? So it is still having that impurity actually. So like that, aham 99.9999999 whatever percentage, 99 again infinity. Even if it goes up to God, that 0.99 reaching up to God also cannot help. You will not reach God. That 0.99 may reach God actually. So that has to be removed. Even that distance is not helpful. Aham Brahmasmi. Tat Tvamasi. Tat, you are almost that is not the statement given by Vedas. It says you are that. You are that in every measure. It just, you are just that only. Don't worry about it. You are that which you are looking for, which you have been always looking for. So that's where the moth, when the flies, in that example what Sonia had shared, when they went to see light, they have seen, obviously they have not seen light. That's what it shows actually. If they had seen light, they would have come back. They would not have come back. They would have just stayed there actually. They understood light to be an object. So this is where the problem is. If we take, for example, just because we have been introduced to certain deities in a particular form, if we happen to see that person, even if someone is come, if even Shiva comes in front of us, he comes, or Krishna comes in front of us in all the celestial form which we have been given to, and we acknowledge that, no point in going and claiming to anyone saying, I saw Krishna. Of course, he can be very happy. That happiness is the same happiness as having enjoyed one Pepsi or one great sweet or a nice chat with a spouse or friend, whosoever. Ananda is just the same. It can be, say, you can call it, different level of Ananda. Taittiriya Upanishad says actually, different levels of Ananda. I'm just reminded of that. So it says, this is equal to so many times of Ananda, that is one name. And that one name into so many times of that name is another Ananda. So it says very nicely actually, different levels of Ananda. It accumulates and then 1000 units of this Ananda is 1 unit of the next Ananda, and 1000 unit of that is equal to 1 unit of another Ananda. So it keeps giving names. So we can have finally Ananda. But what one has to understand is it is Vishaya Ananda. If Krishna came today, I was happy. I can go and I can probably I would have taken even a selfie and put it actually. First thing is people will doubt. Even if it was real Krishna who came in front of you, you have taken a selfie. Digitally it is certified. But someone can say, yeah, someone could have come in, the guise of Krishna. No, he would have come in that Vesha of Krishna, and then you got. If it was real Krishna, also this is what life in any case others are going to say. So if you are going to depend on the likes on your Instagram, you are gone. So our ananda of seeing Krishna, if it is seeing Krishna as an object, that's where the Vaita Bhava comes into picture. Again, it's not going to serve the purpose, because the next day or next moment, if he is not there, again you have a problem. Arey, kal to aaye the, aaj nahi aaye. That becomes a problem. So it cannot stay there actually. That's why that 0.0001 difference has to be removed. It has to be removed. That's where Shastra comes. It makes such a bold statement and makes us understand very clearly, saying what? Tat tvam asi. You are that. Prajnanam Brahma. So, okay, tat tvam asi. Okay, what is that tat? Okay, tvam. When you are saying tvam, what is that tvam you are saying? I want to understand. Is it the skin or DNA, RNA? What is that you are saying? It is saying, boss, I already told you this is all born of food. Anything born of food, throw it out. Okay, body and mind, they are all born of, mind is also matter only. So just throw out all these things. Okay, then who is that? Okay, I am that, whatever I am. I cannot categorically say, but I know all these things, whatever is happening in me, I am that. That thing is that only. You know now that, no? That thing is that only. That's it, simple as this. That witness which you are is that Lord. That's it. And that, it can give clue. Give a little bit better clue than that. It says that, okay, Prajnanam Brahma. Prajnanam is Chit, consciousness. Oh, Prajnanam is Brahma. Yes, I know what consciousness is all about, because how do I know what is consciousness? Because I am conscious being. Consciousness plus being. As far as that, being in terms of body is concerned, is changing. But consciousness remains all the time. Just like I said, space, anything is anything plus space. And space is always space plus Chit. That Chit we are. So that is Prajnanam. So Prajnanam Brahma is one of the Mahavakyas from one of the Upanishads. So when I am Atma Brahma. So what is Atma? It is already defined. Stula Sukshma Karana Sharirad Vyatirikta Panchakosha Atita Sanavastha Traya Sakshi Satchidananda Swarupaha Sanyastishtati Sa Atma Satchitananda Swarupaha. So in that Chit, you have to hold on to as much as possible, because Sat and Ananda, they are more indicators from mind's perspective, mind's perceptions, that perspective. But Chit is almost a noun actually. Chit is noun there actually. Chit is oneself. So that Chit is very important. That's embedded there actually. So once we understand that, automatically you understand that Chit is everlasting, it is totality, and that totality is what we were looking at. In that totality, you see this entire galaxy coming and going, coming and going, coming and going. And how to simplify that in terms of understanding? In that Chit, the moment you want to forget yourself, comes space. The moment space is, everything else can come in there. That's it. That's it. So this is the level of thing. So all that, again, what I'm saying is in a way where we can understand it using the methodology of Shastra. But reaching that exact point is much more important actually. Travel definitely is useful, because that kind of shows the progress. But reaching that point, being there, is very important actually, because that's what gives us the very clear understanding that none of these things what we see, we are. Including those things which come along with this for any scanning or blood test. None of these things is us. Blood test, very simple, objective. No, the moment sample is taken out, it is gone out, right? Thank God we are not so possessive that वापस दे दे और बचा सुचा जो है वापस inject कर दो. That is my blood. Thank God we don't do that. So reaching there. So if the flies went and they saw light, if they had seen light, they would not have come back. What they saw, they had a distance of this micron, 0.000001. That distance is not useful. In fact, that distance perhaps was covered when they came back, and when it was revealed to them saying, you're so stupid that you missed that out. That distance is covered at that time. and even without that light they will get light. That's the real light actually. So to say whether it is an experience or this one knowledge, it is loaded towards knowledge because experience needs mind, which is mithya. That is the person who sufferer actually. वो sufferer को ही बोलते हैं कि you are, you know, if it's a subset, actually saying having coffee is bliss. If this is a statement made by Vedanta, then what will you do? You should have coffee all the time actually. If coffee is not there, bliss is not there. So Vedanta has to point out to the real thing, saying that which lasts ever is oneself. And it is not because Vedanta has a role to come and pacify someone, or it has got a dharma to come and pacify someone. It is saying a statement which is truth, that's all. And it is for us to discover it. The moment we don't need to reinvent it actually, we only discover it actually because it's already there, it is covered. That's the reason we have to discover it. That avarana we have to remove. That's where it comes and helps actually us to see that in its absolute measure, not in any measure, even micron less than its absolute measure. So that when it is achieved, and it is achievable, it is not that it is not achievable, it is achievable. That's when your quest is straightaway fulfilled, completely fulfilled. And after that, what happens is never a question actually, because when you already know that you are that entire canvas in which these characters come and go. For example, you are that white board or a blackboard, whatever you call it these days, it's a whiteboard, electronic board, in which all these characters, yes, they do come. Absolutely, there's no problem. Because in science class, you talk about electricity, magnetism, this, that. So many characters come. You are the board. Now I am depicting all these characters. It's okay. The moment social studies person comes, rub. In any case, that person doesn't understand any of those things. Rub. Then puts Aurangzeb, Shivaji. So that makes sense to that person, obviously, right? That's a subject. This board is very clear. It doesn't matter whether it is science subject or commerce or history, economic. It doesn't matter. It just accommodates everything. Just be there. And it knows that, okay, the moment next person comes, he will rub the earlier characters. So I cannot be attached to the characters. They just come and go. So that kind of a thing you can maybe look at, where when we understand Sushupti, it's that such a state where none of the subject teachers have come and written any character there. that's the in between time of Sushupti, where no character is there. You are witnessing nothing happening, kind of. So that's something also available as one of the spectrum that is available there. So varieties help us to differentiate what are these bodies and what are different states. So to that extent, definitely it helps. So refining on this side is what is more important to get that ultimate. That's what is more important actually. So this is what I thought I'll just share in terms of that moth and fly example that was shared. I'll open up the session for questions, please. Anyone can share any reflection if you have. Good. Looks like people are absorbing. No problem. No problem. See, however difficult something may be, we will crack that only being in that body of knowledge actually. So, if I have to understand relativity theory, I have to be in that subject only to understand it. I cannot go to arts finally to understand relativity. I have to still understand relativity through that particular body of knowledge only. So that's where we are actually, where when we want to know ourselves, whatever body of knowledge is available, that's the body of knowledge available, that's what is available to pursue, and we have to only keep pursuing the same thing until the time we understand it. Since it's a thing of understanding, we may go here and there in terms of what is meant, and there is a certain point where when you reach, you will know it actually, I've reached. So that's where the thing is, no one else can test and tell whether you have reached. You will know when you have reached. After that, you can't express others how you have reached. It's very difficult to tell others that I have reached, boss, I'm very happy. No, it's better to learn this also. One more thing, no, boss, I'm already happy. Okay, then you will not worry about it. ठीक है, सुन लेते हैं. So you know where you exactly reach. For example, I don't know how many of you have used uh, this this electric jug, which uh, which uh, which gives this warm water. This electric jug, right? So when the light is, even when the light is on, actually, I think all of us have to really keep on finding that place where exactly the slot sits. Actually, I don't know. This is my experience, if not others. My experience is very clear. At one go, I can never make it exactly sit on the slot. So keep keep doing trial and error. ऐसे रब करते रहो, कहीं पे एक जगह बैठ जाता है, एक पॉइंट पे बैठ जाता है, right? So if you ask me, somewhere I link the self knowledge towards that, where we are directed towards a point where we are, where the ultimate spot is, where the light is, where we are that light actually. But just like the trial and error, we get closer and closer and closer, and there is no point reveling too much until the time we reach there. Any ultimate comment should be made only when you reach there actually, and whether you have fit into the right slot. Yes, when you put that, your hand understands that, up बैठ गया. You get that understanding, no? This many a times, you have this feel when you close the car door. So that satisfying sound makes you very clear, अब बंद हो गया बराबर. So that kind of a thing, when you reach there from an understanding perspective, it's very, very similar to that. You just resonate with the statement Aham Brahmasmi. You just resonate exactly if you are in the slot actually. That being on that particular slot in terms of understanding is objectified by that person and understood by that person very well actually, without any doubt. That's the point of realization. And once that happens, wow, I mean, you will know it very clearly. It is not that you will not know it. You will know it very clearly as a first time thing, I am that. So once that is reached, nothing needs to be done after that, because that is what we were waiting for all the time. After that, deslotting does not happen. Here, of course, we take it out and then put it again, try to put it again. But there, the deslotting, reversal is not possible. After that, if you, if I start another session saying, no, Atma Avidya, saying, whosoever has understood the self, now I will help them to come out of that understanding. If I put that session, no, first of all, no one will come. First thing, at least those who have understood, they will never come definitely, right? And second thing, I cannot be successful also, because they will be, first of all, I will be, so fool actually if I have to keep on telling that, you are actually that Anitya Vastu only. Vishaya Ananda is the best thing. Why don't you understand? Don't you think liquor is so important, so nice? Otherwise, why wine shop will have so many, customers? Why ITC is making so good profits? Don't you think this Vishaya Ananda is great actually? Come back. Swarupananda is all useless actually. If I set up a class like that, someone who's understood Atma, I will never get them back. So Atma Avidya is already there actually, so I don't need to set up a class for that. So once you fit the slot, you will never come out of it actually, because you are that ultimately. That's what happens. Good. Thought I should just share this actually. Right. So yeah, okay. We'll chant Purnamada. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om.
Hari Om Bhaskar ji.
Hari Om.
Hari Om all. Hari Om sir.
Hari Om.